All right, this is me on the left here in the white gi against Steve Hall in the blue gi. This was one of my first black belt matches. It was a local U.S. grappling event. I think you can see at the top here, 2009, end of the year. And I had known Steve for a few years very loosely. Steve ran and runs an academy down in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I had a lot of respect for him, both as a martial artist and as a person. He'd always been a cool guy, and I was looking forward to this match. And you can see Steve right away is looking to play a little bit of judo. I had been very competitive in judo for a number of years. I am a judo black belt. I've been a competitor in judo that actually predated my jiu-jitsu competition, and I continued on into jiu-jitsu. Steve looks for foot sweep of some sort. Kind of tough to say whether it was like a propping foot throw or sweep, but I'm looking to get just inside control. I just want to have inside control, blocking his arms from being able to do anything. You can see my right arm there has really good inside control. His left arm's on the outside, and Steve, I think, just says, "Okay, well, I'm pulling guard," and right away there, Steve goes deep De La Hiva. He's got the sleeve control, and he gets a very nice sweep. And I've just conceded the sweep like a dummy. Um, but that was a very big strategic error on my part. But for some reason, I felt very comfortable. Like, okay, it's a 10-minute match. I'm going to sweep him back here. And I started playing single leg X. And Steve was able to kind of shut down the single leg X here by shifting his weight to his right. And so from that single leg X, foot lock position, outside ashy, whatever you want to call it. Please don't call it that. Steve's looking to just kind of clear and maybe stuff my left knee through here. So very kind of calculated, careful, and intelligent moves on Steve's part here. Being very smart on top. Not really trying to rush anything. I also will use that double lapel position to just kind of anchor myself as he was doing there. And I'm also looking to say, okay, well, I've got a right hook. Was playing single leg X. That right hook can elevate and sweep like a butterfly guard sweep. Of course, he's got his right hand planted to prevent that from happening. So I transitioned back to a single leg X. Not the strongest position there. Then I switched back and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I'll play a little bit of modified X guard here. And I was okay at modified X guard back then, but there was quite a lot that I didn't really understand about sweeping. And so I think I was just kind of experimenting here. And here I am just sort of inverting, keeping him from passing, using some guard maintenance. Steve doing a good job controlling that leg, though, pinning that bottom leg and looking to maybe drop my hips down and pass. If he could get my knee out of his way here, he would be able to smash my hips to the side, do something like a side smash pass. But it looks like I was doing a decent job of stopping that from happening. And you can see the spider grip, keeping it from going anywhere. Really, I was just using it from a maintenance point of view. I don't think I was able to get any kind of sweeps going. If this had been a few years later, I probably would have gotten underneath him and played kind of a Leandro Lowe style game, sort of a modification hybrid between X guard and spider guard. But this was a long time ago, and I was just a wee lad at black belt, just didn't know much. Playing with maybe a Jello hook here, a De La Hiva hook, thinking about making a little bit of space. My head comes forward in the middle, and Steve says, I'm going to use this opportunity to drag your leg out of the way and work the pass. And he's doing a great job here. Steve can drop his head down and smash my hips out of the way. He's going to get it. Fortunately, I'm able to bend myself in half, and I'm able to maintain my guard, but really relied strongly on flexibility at this point. Not that I don't use flexibility now when I'm rolling, but I really try to use best practices for guard maintenance first. You can see me getting a nice cheap sweep here, almost. And that's going to prove to be a key, I think, later in this match. And I'm going to back that up just a hair because that was kind of a cool transition. I just come forward opportunistically right off of this guard maintenance portion right here, right? It's all I do is I sense that Steve moves back just a hair. So he had that beautiful De La Hiva sweeper on me earlier, and I have something that's really ugly and almost as effective here later. And so that's how jiu-jitsu goes sometimes. Here's the reset in the middle, and he's kind of combat base. He leans back just a hair, and I reach out and I grab his leg and I come forward. But I didn't maintain my top position. And so I think, I scored an advantage. And so it's probably, I have an advantage, but Steve has the 2 points. So it's kind of his game right now. But if I sweep him, I'll be ahead unless he scored an advantage for almost passing my guard earlier. Couldn't see what the referee was doing. I believe the referee is Jason Colbert there, all around handsome gentleman. Said his mother once. Steve here looking to hug my legs. Me just, of course, putting my butt in his face as much as I can. Again, utilizing a lot of flexibility, but this is actually pretty good guard maintenance. And then jumping up for the triangle. And the triangle is pretty easy to set up when you're upside down like that. Not easy, but it's tougher to see it coming, right? I shot my leg through, and I just jumped for the triangle. And from here, I just, I wanted to secure the position a bit, and Steve was just trying to look at backing away. And I think this hook that I'm doing on his arm was sort of preventing him from backing away a little bit. Just looking to hold on to the thing until I could secure the position a little bit better. Steve doing a good job there, though. He kind of sneaks away from it. And so I'm left with this sort of meh arm position. And Steve jumps over. Really good job. Classic way to deal with an omoplata. This wasn't quite an omoplata from my end yet. And I wasn't very good at setting it up. So I transition. I actually did this in another match with a nogi where the guy hopped over and I transitioned to a single leg position to recover guard. So bad job of maintaining that position on my end, but good job of recovering the guard with a single leg type position. And here I am working that spider guard again. And I really like the spider on that side. I'm not real sure why. I was trying to work it. There I am kicking him in the testicles there on accident, probably. Or was it on accident? You decide. And Steve, again, really working to get those legs out of his way, get the feet out of the way. You know, you can kind of think in terms of get the feet out of the way, then you have to beat the knees, then you got to beat the hips. He was able to get the feet out of the way, but you can see my shin is sort of blocking him here. So I'm using everything from the knee up with my right leg to kind of block, making frames basically until I can sit up and get to a better position. That's sort of the premise of a knee shield in my view. Stripping some grips, doing some basic guard maintenance at my end. Steve, again, looking to pressure the entire time, doing a good job on top, keeping his base nice and low. When he goes to stand up, he's very conservative with it, drops his hips back, doesn't come forward, doesn't give me too many opportunities for stupid stuff, as one would expect. And so I go to close guard here, and I think we've got about 4 minutes left in the match. I set up a nice leg overhook position here. It was very easy to set up. Steve leans off to the side. So I have some pretty good opportunities here to go to work with that overhook. Overhooks from the closed guard, definitely one of my favorite things to work from. And I'm looking for inside control with that right arm. First thing I want to try to set up is a triangle if I can do it. That was just my game back then. It's not a bad strategy today. I was not able to get the inside control. Steve did a wise job of not letting me swim inside with my elbow, which I would then swim inside with my knee. And so good job all around. And, this was a fun match. This was a really fun match to have. Here I am again trying to sneak that right knee through the inside space if I can do it. Man, if I knew wrist locks as well as I do now back then, I would have been all over that wrist. If I could turn back time. I'm just sort of angling out to the side now, and I think I've abandoned the leg overhook in favor of a traditional overhook here. And so I'm looking to control that wrist and then feed my left arm so that I can grab with my right arm. And that's what I've done there. It's a overhook wrist control triangle that I've used for a number of years. I will link to a tutorial in the description about that so you can see the setup a little better in a different video. But it's a pretty cool way to set up a triangle, and it's a pretty high percentage, very, very hard to stop once you get that grip. Overhooking one arm, gripping the wrist, and then figure fouring your own wrist with the other hand. And so I'm just sort of starting to climb the triangle up here. I'm not in a giant rush, but, here I am, and I'm looking at the time. There's under 2 minutes left in this match, so maybe a minute and a half to go here. And, I feel as though if I have infinity time, I'm going to do pretty good here. I do well with triangles if I get them, even against very good black belts. As you can see, Steve is right away, he's kind of using that knee pin, which I love to use right here. What I want to do from the knee pin is just turn my hips over and sweep him. but you can sort of see me just trying to turn my hips over without planting my hands on the mat. And what I should be doing there, this is all right. Hugging the knee, that's okay. That's going to squeeze the triangle, but the angle's not right. That's not really going to do anything. If I want to plant my hand and keep my knee elevated, that's a good way to deal with that. But you can see right here as Steve goes that direction, I want to grab his, see, I'm trying to grab his sleeve and sweep him over. Not a bad move, but he's got that left knee of his poking out so far that he's not quite able. I can't quite get him over. I'm not able to sweep him. And since this match happened, Jarrett Church came over to me right after this match. He was there, and I was fortunate enough to hear good advice from him about the triangle. I should have walked my hands out and done kind of a handstand and created that opportunity to elevate and push him over. And ever since then, I've gotten, lo and behold, I've gotten better at finishing the triangle from this position and sweeping to the mount. And if I could have swept from the mount, remember, I was doing well on the advantages. I think I was up by an advantage. I think I would have won. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't sweep him over. I just couldn't do it. And I couldn't sweep Steve. And I didn't mind losing this one. I don't really mind losing most of the time. Maybe that's a bad thing to say. I don't think it is. I think people are wrong that say it's bad, but that was pretty much it. Steve did a great job, got the win here, and I think I did okay too. I learned a ton, and to me, that was the really important thing, getting things out of these matches, not just going out there trying to murder the person. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one today. This was a fun one for me.